Hi, friends. This is Trey. It's after midnight, so it took me this long to get home. Having a late night, it seems like an appropriate time, actually, to make this video. Tonight, what I was going to talk about, or this morning, what I'm going to talk about, is there's an epic amount of covert narcissistic, psychopathic abuse on the streets, and homeless, and in man-made drug use. Okay, people who use man-made drugs of all sorts. Okay, if it's not organic, basically the demons from the antiverse can get in, and unless you're 100% clear-headed, and clear in all your chakras, they can get in. And Aleister Crowley, they say that he did rituals that let in these beings from what's called the antiverse, and they say that the Zeta and others, they just love to feed off your energy when you're always acting like a psychopath, narcissist. So, like I say, there's a dozen people I've been looking at that discuss this subject on YouTube, and I'll admit that I enjoy talking about this subject because I consider it as a part of kicking Satan's ass verbally or through theory and through learning. Through this is the I actually consider psychology to be boots on the ground, local learning and battling with the dark and light forces. So um, whenever someone's on meth, obviously in particular, I mean that's just someone said that's just a direct portal for these demons. They can just basically use them. So that's obvious, but anyone who deals this kind of stuff is much more profound. The Illuminati, the Dark Lord's minions who wander around the streets and deal bad drugs to these people, it's going to be much more narcissistic. But of course, everyone knows that there's a huge victim consciousness amongst the homeless, right? And beggars, alcoholics, drug addicts, thieves, homeless. But there's also a lot of covert narcissism because, say I came out here to live out my dreams to California, and I actually started to get most of my money collecting cans from the garbage. First couple of years I was here, I would even go to the health food store at 2 in the morning to look for deli salads that were still in their container past the date, and then I'd wash it off. And one time I was feeding sheep cheese to homeless people for a week and eating it because they threw a cachet, a box of it in there. So this is a really huge tragedy. Meth, alcohol, heroin, cocaine, and even cannabis when the people don't have discipline. With no discipline, any addictive substance, coffee, pharmaceuticals, can easily let in demons and completely disrespectful entities that will try to take over your personality and body. And guess what? Santa Cruz and the whole region, Santa Clara, Santa Cruz, LA, but particularly Santa Cruz, because of the so-called curse, the Babylon money, black magic curse, like I say, the Saturn black cube tech curse, big tech curse. Santa Cruz is a harvesting spot for the negative aliens. Okay, because there's so many easy targets amongst the homeless. Okay, and these are people like again that are in bad drugs that a lot of have been through. A lot of them have been through satanic ritual abuse or other beating or abuse, narcissistic parents. So sometimes these covert narcissists that are homeless or living in the wilds in the forest, like I'm working on healing this myself, like I say. And so the other day, I'm going to the health food store to upload a video and learn. And I see a man in the corner, and I said, "Oh, I'm so glad it's you." Because I always thought this was a gentle man that lives in the forest. I've seen him stutter, long hair and a beard, and he was wearing rain gear. And he didn't stutter this time, but I openly told him, I'm glad it's you. I thought it was going to be somebody out of their mind on meth, because about two of them have been kind of camping out in that health food store. And it's just a little bit intense for me. And so, because I only play with plant medicines. And so, and things given to us by God, like psilocybin. So, the guy's like very mentally ill, of course. And I told him I was going to go online, but I said, I'm so rusty on my social work and healing skills that, I mean, not just for myself, but I also wanted to help him heal. So I said, if you want to talk about anything, I will be here for you. And I offered to watch his bag while he went to the bathroom, but he didn't trust me to do that. He's very thin, and he came back about my age, not a gray hair, and he came back. And he said, you want to talk? You talk about computers or food? He obviously had Asperger's or some serious mental illness. Then he started saying something about my boss, like he was employed. Like my boss, and he said, my boss lives on the East Coast, my boss. And tonight I saw him there with a man that might be his father that's 20 years older than him, that has seen me rant and rave when I was born again, my old days before I started doing this in more appropriate platform. I would actually preach on the street a little bit on my bicycle while I'm locking my bicycle, for example. And this guy would always look at me and say nothing. I guess he was helping this guy or talking to him, and they sat down at the same table I uploaded the video at tonight. And I don't think they saw me, but because I was leaving. The thing is that I tried to offer him some food, and I don't know if he was wanting to ask me for money or something, or food. It was coming down rain. It seemed like he was intimidating that he didn't have any money for food, but like his social skills were so bad, so much worse than mine, that I think I don't really have Asperger's too much, or I could use this platform to get rid of it by learning the grace. And the narcissism as well. I mean, so this guy had massive quantities of these beings in his aura. Like they were controlling him, and like they were very narcissistic. And this dude was very gentle. Like he didn't have an evil vibe, or like he seemed like an open empath, or he could have been, again, sexually abused as a child or something like that. That was what an impression I've always had about him. But I actually never spoke to him. I've seen him like 10, 15 times in the last 19 years and never said anything. I said hi to him a few times, and he stuttered, and he wasn't stuttering, but his energy was so aggressive and negative that I could just see these, again, narcissistic parasites on him. So you got people on YouTube talking about aliens and people on YouTube talking about narcissists. And I'll admit, subscribe if you enjoy this commentary. I'll admit I wanted to up my numbers and get to be able to take donations through this system, and it takes a lot more numbers than I have. But however, like I say, I've had a lot of experience in this, and I do have passion on this topic as well, and they're all related. So I'm here to be the guy when it comes to this topic to tie it all together for you, okay? Because I'm bringing in the Christ. I'm bringing in the angels with respect, okay? And that's what these beings hate, or they fear, and they don't want to really mess with me. So I tried to give this guy this Um, it's a Garden of Life protein bar, weight loss bar. But I told him I got all this great food from Go Grocery Outlet for $1. I got this, and like I say, this company was purchased by Dr. Perlmutter, and it's all organic and keto, and it says vegan right here in the middle. But I didn't actually see that part. I started looking at the ingredients, but he said, no, there's something wrong with it. It's not vegan. And man, I thought about Dr. Perlmutter's book, and I thought, oh my God, this guy might have major brain damage from being a vegan for a long time, as a hermit in the forest. And because he hasn't been getting any cholesterol, he might, just be completely losing it, partly from that. Houselessness is a training. All these years. I mean, I was in legal residence 3 or 4 years, but so how do you respond when you're dealing with some psychopath, narcissistic tweaker on the street? Okay, it's like almost like a tightrope walk at first. You have to understand there's freedom in non-reaction, okay, to all of the negative spirits with and without bodies. Sometimes it's taken me years to forgive myself for these people that I would interact with many times that were very narcissistic, but they pretended or seemed to be in trouble or afraid or intimidated by their poverty with their tail between their legs. So this cat I was speaking in earlier videos about, I have gone stonewall and no contact for a while now, to the point where for long enough where I feel comfortable saying that I'm healing it. But when it comes to these people on hard drugs, if you see someone who's on meth or heroin or liquor, homeless people, please don't try to offer them money or help unless you are already fully awakened or spiritually qualified, or you know what you're doing, because you could be, again, getting yourself into big trouble. I would stay 6 feet away, obey the devil's mandate when it comes to the violent, the psychopath, homeless that are on bad drugs, because and even narcissistic people that are fully housed. Because this guy I was telling you I live with, he would touch me, and he could lean into your aura when he was trying to manipulate me. He would lean into the aura. Okay, so understand freedom and non-reaction, and peace must come from within. Like I say, healing's an inside job. Pray for their souls, and don't give them any money unless you're sure that you're never going to see them again. Because the next time you see them, you can be supplying their drugs again. And it's important to sometimes I would flash a peace sign if possible, or say peace be with you, brother and sister, or whatever. As you get in your car, you walk by, you have to acknowledge their humanity, or else that might trigger their violence worse. Okay, you got to realize these people are very traumatized, very mentally ill most of the time, and you don't even know. This guy seemed really gentle. This vegan guy, who, I think might be a hermit too. He seemed very gentle. Okay, but that spirit is infested almost all of the homeless and houseless, the wild people. They're mostly are traumatized, sexual victims from all kinds of things. But particularly all the ones that do illegal drugs are going to be hosting these demons, narcissistic demons. And you got to be really careful, respect your aura, respect your space, and learn to have the discipline to understand how to deal with these things when you're in public space. Don't act afraid. If you enjoyed this, subscribe. Peace be with you, my family. I love you.